Hey there, Virgo Sun, Virgo Moon, Virgo Rising. It's Maggie from Moon Directed. Welcome to my channel. Here we work with the energy of the moon to see how we can best utilize it to move our life forward in the most positive way possible. I want to take a moment, which I've been forgetting to do all day, to thank people for their likes, their shares, their comments, for helping me to grow my channel. I really do appreciate it. There's just so much to get to this week. So, and there always is, though. It's crazy, right? So this video is going to cover December 2nd through the 8th. For the weekly moon cycles, and then we'll do the monthly update, which is actually the Sagittarius mid-month update, and that will cover like the 5th of December through the 20th. I will timestamp so you can skip directly to that if you choose to, but I find that since that's half of what this week is going to cover, that you might find that the energy is kind of relevant and it has to do with that. So I need a clarifier about what that was about. All right, so we walk into the week with the moon is in Aquarius, and the moon in Aquarius is about that big idea that you've had and how can you communicate effectively. The key to the situation is the effective communication of your big idea to the right people in order to get things moving. It might require a little extra maybe research to make it happen. So this is an interesting week. The other thing we have going on is that Jupiter has moved on Monday into Capricorn. And Jupiter was for the last 12 months in its home sign of Sagittarius, where it was very comfortable and happy to expand. And some of us may have had expanding waistlines that came with it. I know that, if for instance you're Cancer rising, then that would have happened in your 6th house of health. And so you might have struggled more than most on that, but you're Virgo, so for you, that would have been in your 4th house of home, and so maybe that was really good placement for you. Maybe that worked out really, really well. So you just kind of have to take a look at, what has expanded in your life, and now it's moved into Capricorn where things start to contract. It's coming up against a huge transformative energy of Pluto, where it will be in conjunction in the next 12 months, and then it'll also go into conjunction with Saturn, which is all about, contraction, but then it will move past that and things will start to expand again. So it's kind of going to be almost like an accordion effect, right? Contraction in, expansion out, contraction in. And so that's kind of coming up for 2020. Just something to keep in mind. You may already be feeling the energy, but we're definitely going to be feeling the energy. So this is what came out for your overall energy for the week, and this is the 5 of Wands energy. This is busy. This feels really busy, like lots of things are tugging at you. This is not necessarily bad. It's just like you feel like you've got so much going on, and it's hard to get on top of it, and who's winning and who's not winning, and it's a tug of war, I think, for your time and attention this week. And when I wanted to know what that was about, we actually had 2 major arcana come out. We have the Hierophant and we have the Justice. And so one of them is teaching and beliefs. The other one that came out was the Queen of Swords, which is about research, and then justice. And so it almost feels like maybe in your heart space, where is this happening? 6th house, 7th house, 8th house, 9th house. Okay, so this feels like your belief system is struggling right now between fact and fiction. What's real and what's not? What is something you've accepted as real that might not be real and you want to do more research on because you're feeling like you want to balance the scales. You want justice out of all this. And so, because this is happening this week in your 6th house of work-life balance, okay, which doesn't surprise me when I see the tug of war, but 7th house of partnerships into your 8th house of transformation into the research. And so there is finding a balance with long-held beliefs. The Hierophant also has to do with marriage. And so it could be that kind of a relationship that something feels a little out of whack or you need more information on. Anyway, there's this tug of war of trying to find the balance in all of this for you. And so I'm not sure how you're going to balance the reality. And most people are trying to deal with that right now. There's a lot of energy of that, especially with that moon in Aquarius. It's like we see the path ahead. We know we need to make some adaptations. We know we need to make some changes. We want to think outside of the box. How do we get this to happen? So that would be changing those long-held beliefs, right, to try something new. Maybe you've done the research. You're like, you know what, this idea might really work better if we try doing it this way, you know. And so there's this idea that you need to like rationalize and then how to communicate how you're rationalizing things to somebody that's key to creating the situation and moving things in the way you want to create this new life. And so there's something big that's shifting and changing. It's happening to everybody. And so especially with that 8th house of transformation going on this week, I just feel like there's some changes that are moving around, and I think you're a little afraid of the change. Because the 8th house transformation happens when the moon is in Leo for you, and that part of the moon has a lot to do this month with the fears and where the boundaries are and stuff. And so trying to find a creative solution and figuring out how you're going to manage all this seems challenging. When I see the 5 of Wands, that's challenging energy, okay? You're being challenged either by the old way of doing things, the set way of doing things, an old set of belief systems, or not enough information. Something is challenging the whole transformation of your idea, bringing it into reality. On Tuesday, though, Venus and Mars goes into a beautiful sextile energy, and Mars is in trine energy, which is also really comfortable with that moon in Pisces, and it gets there at 2:11 a.m. in the morning. And so this is a beautiful day to tell the people in your life that you love them. So make that your little mini Valentine's Day, right? Find the people that you love. But you're going to be really like looking forward and assessing. See, like the moon is half black, half white. It's like you have some of the information, but not all of the information. But through the discernment process, by the time you get to Wednesday, so I think you start figuring things out. And Wednesday has a very creative energy to it. And so using that to transform an idea. So you have protection. You and your loved ones and your possessions are safe and protected from heaven by heaven. And so this idea feels maybe risky to you. Maybe you feel very challenged by the justice system or by time and energy that's going on around you. But I think that you can just let off the gas a little because you have playtime. It says the dolphins have known the importance of playing as joy creates miracles and manifestation. If you have been working really hard and you've got your nose to the grindstone, it's time to find that balance, right? The scales of justice, that Libra balance, that work-life balance, because we're covering that this week for you. That's being covered, especially when it comes to your partnerships. And so taking the time to figure that out. Now, some of you are planning a big trip. And it might be that this is the week where you are figuring out and assessing and determining where it is you want to go. Because we do have long distance travel coming up, and there seems to be some fears and some boundaries that need to be broken through in order to transform the thinking. But there's this competitiveness. When this moon moves in Thursday afternoon, it moves into Aries at 2:44 p.m. and it's like, I want to take action. You're feeling a little more impulsive than usual. And it can come out as very aggressive and very stubborn energy. It's like, what is real and where should the boundaries be? How can we break through those? What's important? Sorting all that out this week. There's so much sorting going on this week. But things are finally moving, which is so nice after being stuck in that Scorpio energy for like ever. Or was that just me? I don't think it was just me. Okay, so simplicity. So some of the best things, it says deep, profound serenity is expanding in my life, keeping it simple, not being too elaborate, allowing for the playtime, allowing yourself, if this is your life all the time, busy, all these things tugging at you, maybe the transformation is to create this simplicity. What can you let go of? What don't you need to be doing? How can you create this new life that you want, where that involves having playtime in it? That allows you to have fulfillment. It says joy abounds in all areas of my life. I think if you can simplify your routine, and Virgo, you are all about work-life balance. That is, you rule the 6th house of work-life balance. And so simplifying your life will bring in this new life. So that might be your radical idea. Your radical idea, this long-held belief that, we've got to be doing all these things. Maybe you don't. Maybe you don't actually need to be doing so many things. And maybe sitting down and making a chart and looking at it and saying, okay, what really needs, and maybe the safe and protected means that your financial needs will be met. Maybe you can work part-time instead of full-time, or maybe your partner can, or, maybe, you can do that and drop an activity that you pay a lot of money for so that you also have more time that way. Figure it out. But take time for a little romance with your partner on Tuesday, even if you're just sitting watching TV and holding hands, right? So this protection comes up again. We have the cedar. When the moon moves into Taurus on Sunday, that's at 2:29 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. At the same time, we've got some really weird energies going on that day. So this is about focusing on what brings stability, but then we've got the sun at a square with Neptune, which is finally direct, and Jupiter is at a square with your deep wounds of Chiron. And so there might be an expansion of what has hurt in the past. You might stir some stuff up, but look, you are protected. You have cedar, you have protection, So whatever's going on, and look at this. We have new life and we have new doorways. There is a new opportunity coming to you. There really is. Oh, look, hidden gift. And follow your passion. So what will make you feel fulfilled? How can you simplify your life so that you can create what it is that you want to create? What can you do to bring in this happiness, this passion? How can you simplify for the fulfillment and make things a lot easier, less cluttery in your day-to-day activities? So something to chew on this week, right? Something to really spend a little bit of time, especially if you're in a partnership situation, talking to your partner and figuring out what that is that would make you feel like that. It seems like this is a good week for that. Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on to the monthly portion. I'm going to timestamp this right now so that it's at 12:30. So welcome to the second part where we talk about this next 2 weeks, the mid-month update. We'll give some advice on love, some advice on money, some general overall advice. And we're going to use the 9-card spread using the Lenormand cards. And we'll just see what we get here. Okay. So the center card is the key to the situation if you've never seen this before. Then we cover the past, present, the future, thoughts, feelings, actions. Wow, that was really interesting. It was so organized. That was so Virgo. It is your superpower that I love more than anything in the world. Okay, yep. All right, so long-awaited change is the overall energy. We have the stork coming in. I think that this change, the simplifying of your life, this making things better, so you like allowing the new doorways to open up, the new pathways that follow your passion. I think that this is something you've been working toward, and now it's kind of time to sit down and figure out, how do you do it? What's the next steps? And so the key to the situation is it has to do with your home. And so again, it could be work-life balance. It could be actually moving, because this could be moving. We do have long-distance travel. It could be taking a vacation, the lifetime that you've been wanting to do. There is something about this whole situation that's going to expand your horizons. I feel like spiritually, either by meeting new people, having new experiences, seeing new places, doing things differently. It feels like a very expansive energy in your spirituality. Although fun and romance, Capricorn is Jupiter has moved into Capricorn, which is your house of fun and romance. And so for the next year, you may find that you want to expand what is fun, following your passion, bringing the playtime into your life. And so how do you create that balance? And so in the past, I think that you got some clarity very recently. Like you're like, no, this is what I want. This is what I want to work toward. In the area of transformation, we have the moon. So you're going to transform the situation by working with the cycles of the moon and by listening to your intuition. So we have nodes. Okay, all right. All right, so cycles of the moon. So currently the moon is, the north node of it is in Cancer, the south node is in Capricorn, and that means eclipse seasons are coming up. And so that new moon eclipse in Capricorn happens on 26th of December. The full moon eclipse in Cancer happens on the 10th or the 11th of January, followed immediately by that Saturn and Pluto conjunction. Lots of big shifts and changes are happening. And so these eclipses and that energy, things are going to change and transform. And I don't know that you need to push it, but I do think you need to be thinking about what direction you want to head in and then how can you simplify your life. Because in the future, your finances are going to transform. This just means big change. This doesn't mean you aren't going to have any. And remember, also, you have protection, right? You and your loved ones are protected. Your possessions are safe and protected by heaven. And you have the cedar of protection. And so I feel like with this transformation means that, yes, things are going to definitely shift and change there. But I feel like it's for the better. In the recent past, you've had some concerns like, am I really this lucky? Can we really do this? Well, you look lucky. I don't see anything here that doesn't say that. In the future, in the heart space, we have a man. All right, so ladies, 80% of my viewers are ladies. This could mean a man, but when I do a general reading, I think of it as yang energy. This is action-oriented energy. This is you giving love. This is you following your passion. This doesn't necessarily mean you giving love to another person. This is doing that thing that's playful, that's fun, that awakens your passion, that opens the new doorways. This is taking an action that actually makes your heart feel happy. In the recent past, your perspective was the issue. Like, what is your standard of success? You know, if you're judging yourself against other people, that's rough. But when you just start deciding that your standard of success is your happiness quotient, that makes it a lot easier to eliminate what's not working. And that is a bit of an obstacle for you. So there is a mountain that needs to be climbed here currently. But I want to remind you, you are protected. Even though we have this Five of Wands energy happening, we've got doorways are opening and you have the rainbow, a hidden gift. And so what might seem like an obstacle, maybe, just maybe, you lost a job. And you're like, what? How are we going to pay the bills? How are we going to manage this? And I think if you look for the gift in it, and the gift being time to be more creative, to maybe start your own business and follow your own passion. You know, there's other ways to look at things. But I feel the concern. But in the future, you have the fish. And this is an abundance of stability because it's in the anger house. Abundance of financial stability. This is this mountain, I just heard, don't make a mountain out of a molehill. It's a bump in the road. It's not really a mountain. So stand up. Because when you're laying on the ground and you think you're defeated and you look up and there's a molehill in front of you, it looks like a mountain. But if you stand up, you tower over it, a change in perspective. And then you realize, oh, look, see the mountain? There it is. And if you're up here planting your flag, you have a higher perspective and you can see over it. You can make it over it. I've never noticed that. That is so cool. So, no making a mountain out of a molehill. Instead, find the creative solution. Work in tandem with your partner. it feels like there's a partnership involved here, but maybe not. And maybe you're on your own. And so that's, I don't know about you, but I want to say take a risk and find a new way of doing things. And making decisions sometimes is so much easier when you don't have to take someone else's thoughts and feelings into account. I've kind of enjoyed that aspect of my life. All right, so financial advice for you this month is to work on your savings. Even if you're just putting a little bit aside, it's doing it regularly is important. We have no more complaining and detox your friendship. If you are hanging out with negative people, you need to let them go. Or when they start having negative conversations, you can say, oh, you know what? I have to be somewhere, and you get up and you leave. Don't engage in the process of the negativity. If every time they start being negative and you either change the subject to a happy one or you actually physically leave sometimes, they'll start getting the hint that negative energy is not welcomed. And then you have no more complaining, which again seems to go right there with that detoxing of your friendship. So don't allow other people's negative energies to bleed into yours and create this negative environment around you. Choose happiness, choose joy, choose simplicity. Choose to get up and leave the table if people are being rude and negative. If they're talking about things you don't want to talk about, then, you don't have to sit there. You can get up. All right, this one too, apparently. All right, so these cards right here are messages from Spirit regarding love. And so, but it feels like for you, this is more about finances. It could be a partnership, though. But we have only time will tell. So you don't have all the information you need yet. Or you do, but it's going to take time for everything to work its way through. We have freedom. There is nothing stopping you. The path is clear if you want it to be. And healing, imagine yourself and your beloved surrounded by light. Feel your relationship being healed at this very moment. So if you've been fighting and arguing about a financial situation or there's something, it feels like finances are really causing a strain, but it could be other things, make that play date. Have that fun. Don't complain about things. This don't complain also feels like don't criticize. Detoxing your friendships means you can only bring happiness and joy into it also, right? Like, it's not just that they're being negative, but don't you walk in with negative stuff, right? It's you detoxing how you are communicating to others. And remember, if you are in a partnership, treat this person like they're your best friend. And then that's the person that you're detoxing that friendship. Like, friendship is really key to a successful partnership of any kind. That's personal. Not necessary in business, although helpful. But in a personal one-on-one thing, it feels very much like friendship is the key to me. And since we have the home situation showing up here, I feel like this is more of an intimate partnership. Okay, so your overall advice, again, so I feel like there's this conflict here. It's about time or money. Like, you're not given enough time, you're not receiving enough time. You're worried about finances. There is something that's creating this conflict because we have the trick, which is things may not be as they appear. Don't just hear, but listen. Don't just look, see. Don't just sense, feel. Be prepared to lose if you take this risk. You are an incisive problem solver and you can see through the deception. You can see over the mountain, right? But we have conflict. This is why I think that there might be a little bit of negative energy floating around your house. Wait, do nothing, neutralize disharmony, misunderstandings, and even confrontations. The situation will clear up soon. Be patient. Don't make a mountain out of a molehill. Allow the time to heal the situation. Detox the friendship by whatever this thing is, this source of irritation, giving it a little space, and creating, remembering, reinvigorating the relationship, the fun part. You know, we have relationship harmony. A loyal and harmonious relationship or partnership is being manifested. The bond between friends, lovers, and partners will grow and blossom. Nurture the relationship with no judgment and no expectation. And longevity. Healing and revival. The worst is now over and the immediate future is promising. Pursue a healthy lifestyle to change the way you view yourself and the world. Be happy with the outcome. So, healing, protection, creating a safe place for everybody, including yourself, by choosing the joyful way of living. It's hard to, maybe doing a ritual will help you. Sometimes it's like a reset. Okay, so the reason I believe rituals work is because it's the intention behind the ritual. It's not exactly magic, but since we co-create with spirit, whatever we are focusing on, that's what we manifest. So the thing about creating a ritual is that the reason it works is because your intention is co-creating with the spirit to manifest it into reality. It can be simple or it can be elaborate. But what I just saw was when you come home from work, if work's bothering you, for instance, and you come home from work and you bring your bad, negative, I really hate my job energy into your home, walk in the door, pour a little table salt or sea salt into your hand, scrub it up, rinse it off, and imagine you washing away the negative energy of the day and help you transition. It does actually remove negative energy. So a saltwater bath does that. But in this case, it's more like you deciding this is going to be where I transition from work to home, right? It feels like there's a thing there. Another thing you could do is if you have some built up resentments, these things that are always bothering you, your partner leaves their dirty clothes in the corner, they don't put the cap on the toothpaste, I don't know what it is, right? Write them all down, and then I release my resentment and burn it. It would be helpful maybe to say to your partner, I feel, because it's about what you feel, I feel disrespected when I've just cleaned the bathroom and you go in and you use it and you leave your stuff all over the counter. I feel like you don't respect my time. You don't respect my effort. I feel like I'm not even sure that's the way you say it. I think it'd be more like, I feel disrespected. I feel like my time, my effort, and my love of organization is being disrespected, instead of using the word you at all. I feel that my time and effort and what brings me joy is being disrespected. Do you think if you presented it that way, then maybe your partner might say, I didn't look at it that way. It'd be a change in perspective for them as well. If your partner is constantly complaining to you about something you're doing and you think it's ridiculous that he or she is upset about that, try changing your perspective and think, what are they actually asking you to do? Is it really that hard? Is it something you could do that shows that you respect how they feel about something that seems ridiculous? Oh my gosh. Seriously, I just leave my glass on the counter and that's such a problem for you? Like, that's silly. But how important is it for you to leave the glass on the counter? Probably not. But if it really bothers them, it's important to them because they feel disrespected. Like, what they would like doesn't mean anything to you. So it kind of can go both ways with that. Those are the hard conversations that might need to be had this week. You have happiness and trust. You can totally do this. I accept my inner voice will always guide me correctly. I'm aware that being happy means that I'm on the right path. So as you're making choices, make them with your instinct, make them with your heart, and then you will know you're on the right path. What feels right? What feels good? So whatever it is that you're complaining about, express how you feel about it in terms of how it makes you feel, and then let it go. They're either going to do something about it or they're not. And so now you've expressed it. Maybe they choose not to. You have to decide, is it really that important, or can you also let that go? Because happiness, choosing relationship harmony is a choice that we all make every day. Wake up in the morning and think to yourself, I choose you, right? I choose myself. I choose you. I choose us, right? You have a great week. I will see you back here next week. We'll do the full moon in Gemini, and have a great week. Choose yourself. Choose your partner. Choose your relationship. Seems like a recipe for happiness. All right, you take care. We'll talk soon.